Hi, welcome to RC 2001 for the fall 2024 semester. I'm your instructor, Bill Torgerson. You can call me Torg. This class is asynchronous. I'm looking at a script over here, some things I'm going to go over. We will never, asynchronous means we'll never meet at the same time. So there's no such thing as classes at one. Let's all get online on a video conference. We're not doing that. Your assignments are due at 11:59 p.m. on the date they are due. So the big news on this video is that you have an assignment due on this first day of class, and it's due tonight at 11:59. So if we scroll down here, so there's information you need here. This video is going to be here, so that'll be added. That'll be one thing that you don't see in the video that will be there by the time you look at this website. So we scroll down, and there's all this stuff that we'll go over. And your first assignment is change and write about your avatar forum. So when I say avatar, I'm talking about this image over here. And you're actually going to post whatever image you choose in this forum. So this doesn't have to be a picture of you. I'm not going to ever require you to put a picture of yourself. You know, some people put their dog. You can put a flower. You can put the view out your window. If you're comfortable using your picture, it just helps everyone, you know, put a human being beside the work they're looking at. So I'm on As You Learn. I'm looking at 80 things that have been turned in, and I try to work to start connecting this name I'm looking at, you know, with a person. And it could be that, you know, Janice has the picture of the cat in the windowsill, and that's kind of the connection I make. So that's the avatar. So the assignment, and notice as you scroll down, these are all of our assignments. Every assignment for the semester is up there. Every once in a while there's a change because maybe of a disruption of some time in the schedule, or something takes a little bit longer. So I come here, write about your avatar. I click here for the directions. And all of these are in Google Docs. So this is an explanation of how to do that first assignment. So that's how all your assignments do. When do they due? They're due at 11:59 p.m. Okay. Over here, this gives me a little bit more of the schedule if I want it, and notice how I can toggle these things open and closed. So I will be communicating my announcements. I think you get an email notification for that. So as the course goes on, I can close those, and now we're getting into September. And these are just the different sections of the class. So just make sure you notice that you can open and close those. There's no textbook to buy. Let's go back up to the top. This is our textbook, and you will have to sometimes probably click on some permissions, but if you've been here for a couple of years, maybe you won't. So this is our textbook, and there'll be more on how to use the textbook. There's that kind of permission, I think, the one time. Let's hope this works, right, guys? So more on the textbook later, but this is your digital textbook. So nothing to buy. And then we also, I think there's a couple where we use some additional readings. And so if I click here, this links me to a Google folder where I have uploaded some PDFs that we'll occasionally use. Let's keep going. Okay, so the check your, I expect you to check your email daily. You'll have something due usually 3 times a week. A lot of times students, you know, is this class hard? Well, there's a lot to keep up with, but I think the work is pretty engaging. And if you've done what I've asked, then you'll get a pretty good grade. And then I think what makes it hard is, yeah, there's quite a bit of work. But I think the work often doesn't feel like work. And the grading when you actually do it isn't, I guess what some people would say, harsh. So let's look at this syllabus. And so I'm right here, and I'm just going to try to get you a little bit curious about what might be here. So I'm going to scroll down and share one belief I have about writing. 8 of the many beliefs I have about writing. Let's just do number 1. Everyone can learn to write more effectively. Some ways to do this are through reading and writing a lot, and by practicing in some of the ways you'd practice an instrument or a sport. One of my favorite writers about writing, his name is Donald Murray. and he says something kind of simple like, if you want to get better at playing the tuba, then you play the tuba. Sometimes people say they suck at writing, but they almost never try to write. So, you have a choice. I think the course will be pretty engaging from that standpoint, and I think you can do it better. Let me do one more. I can't help myself. Writing is thinking. When you become a better writer, you become a better thinker. So if you think about this as a thinking class, it starts to become relevant to everyone. Plus, you're going to get to pick a lot of times what you're writing about. Tips for the class. Don't glance at messages from me on your phone. It seems like lots of students tend to forget to come back to those messages. Just for an example on my end, if I'm out and about and I've got my cell phone and I check my email and you've emailed me and I click on it and it becomes a red email, there's a great chance for me that I will never remember to come back to your emails. So I don't really look at my emails until I'm sitting at my desk, looking at my desktop. I know you might not work that way. And I've got a little notepad and I've got an iPad that I take notes on. And so I don't look at that stuff until I'm ready to work. That's a suggestion I have for you. Of course, we all have our own way of succeeding. So there's some more tips on the course there for me. What do I mean A-port? You're going to make an A-port. The rest of the world calls them electronic portfolios or e-ports. You might be familiar with, like, an artist might carry around a portfolio with their work. And you may have done this too, but in the 80s, the 90s, when I started teaching, portfolios were 3-ring binders or they were folders with our work on it. So you could really, you can think of this as your website, and yours will be different than this one. Your assignments are different, but this is a previous student. He manages the Barbecue King. What is that? Lincolnton. And so he wrote about, he got to study what he wanted. He studied leadership. But you're going to make something that looks like this, and I think you should take comfort in the fact I've taught thousands of students, and they've all been able to make their portfolio. Nobody has ever been like, I didn't make the portfolio. So you'll get it done. You'll get a lot of videos to help you do that. Let's go super quick start on Google Docs. So this is in a Google Doc. Let's go to my email. So here's my App State email, and a couple things. The way that I get to Docs, and you could do it a lot of ways. I hit this over here, Google Apps. These are all apps that I could use. There's actually more. I go to Drive. I could go right to Docs, but I usually go to Drive, and then I go New, and then here I am in a Google Doc. But let's come back to this Google Doc. So, and this is a syllabus, right? So I go over here to this Share button, and I can change it. Right now, anyone who has this link can look at it and they can only view it. You're going to have to go, anyone with the link, and then commenter or editor. If I don't want you guys to be able to edit the syllabus, but those are the really two things. I copy that. You'll be a lot of times copying from a Google Doc, pasting into As You Learn, giving us access to make some comments on your doc. So that was just the super. And then let me show you one thing I don't want you to do. I really don't want you to put my email in here. There's the head of the English department. Here's director of rhetoric and composition. I don't want you to put my email in here, because if you do that, if everyone did that, I'll get 90 emails. You have received access to so-and-so's Google Doc. So it's better just to do that, anyone with the link stuff. So that's your get started on Google Docs. We're wrapping up here. Back to our course site. And this is also on an A-portfolio. It's a little bio about me in case you're interested. I'm going to go over and just say a couple things about myself. I've taught every grade 6 through 12. I've worked with every level of student in undergraduate. I've worked with graduate students. Did I? I'm not positive I worked with creative writing graduate students. Oh, it just in a kind of mentoring teaching capacity. So in other words, I've taught a lot of different grades. I'm also the local girls basketball coach at Watauga High School. So this is both my daughters. My daughter just graduated. I'm taking her, at the time of this video, I'm taking her next weekend to college in Virginia to play basketball, and that's going to be hard. This is my daughter, Izzy. So there we are. That's a little bit about my teaching. I taught for 11 years at St. John's University in New York City. I earned tenure there. I say it's fun to make stuff, and so that I actually have a second edition of Love on the Big Screen now. This is my first novel about a college freshman whose understanding of love has been shaped by late 80s romantic comedies. So kind of about somebody your age. And then there were two more books of fiction, lots of stuff in scholarly journals and literary journals, and then directed 3 independent films, wrote a screenplay that won a grand prize. So that's kind of me as a writer teaching writing. You're welcome to read more of that. And then really done a lot just to arrange my life so I can spend a lot of time with family. So Megan and I met on a blind date in Charlotte. Assistant principal set us up. And so here's my wife, Megan. Here's my girls again. And this is just about me as a family man. I don't know if these pictures are worth looking at. Charlotte at Watauga on her signing day and the fam on vacation. You get the idea. There we are. This is at Cape Cod, which we went to last summer. So that's me. You're going to write a much shorter version of that. And here's my email, which of course probably pretty easy to find on As You Learn. Love to hear from you. Love to set up a video conference and chat if you got questions or just want to talk about writing or your ideas or your undergraduate education, or office hours, which I will email out and are on the syllabus, but I'll email those to you usually on Sunday night because I teach a hybrid course where, the day that we meet varies. And so on Sunday night, I send out an email. Plus, it reminds you, oh, yeah, I could go talk to Torg. Okay, so it's my favorite part of the job is like getting to know you personally and talking about your work. Much more interesting than clicking on 80 things and trying to score them. Okay, so I look forward to working with you. Let's have a great semester. We'll be in touch soon.